As you can see, everything has changed. The world does not stand still, and the education neither. So let's compare it more specifically in Soviet times and now.
So now let's start with preschool education.
U.S. institutions aim to provide not only educational guidance but also to instill the principle of collectivism and the socialist ideology among young children. In this context, the organization known as Oktyabrona had a significant presence within kindergartens. Oktyabrona, which translates to Little Octopus in English, was a Soviet youth organization specifically designed for children in preschool and early school years. Its name derives from the October Revolution, a pivotal event in Soviet history.
And now kindergarten look like this.
Modern kindergartens in Kazakhstan prioritize a child-centric educational approach, emphasizing a balanced curriculum that includes subjects like language, mathematics, and the country's cultural heritage. These kindergartens promote play-based learning and they incorporate technology to prepare children for their digital life. Furthermore, they encourage parents' involvement and maintain high standards of safety in the kitchen while fostering inclusivity for children with special needs.
In the first year of Soviet power, general and vocational education were not separated. Mastering the basics of theoretical knowledge and craft took place in parallel. In 1932, secondary education in the USSR became 10 years old and 3-stage: primary from 1st to 4th grade, incomplete secondary from 5th to 7th, middle 10 classes. The advantages of Soviet education include accessibility and inclusiveness, fundamentality and versatility of knowledge, availability of incentive and involvement in the learning process, requirements for teachers and respect for the profession. But there were also disadvantages: emphasis on theory rather than practice, lack of creative thinking, novelty and freedom of thought, lack of home education and external studies, low level of foreign language teaching. What do we have now? Modern school education in Kazakhstan is still undergoing major reforms and changes occur every year. At the moment, we have a school program for 11 grades, which in the future will turn into 20-year program according to international standards. A lot of attention is paid to extracurricular activities, learning foreign languages, and developing creative thinking through interactive lessons that involve students more. But the majority of the adult generation still believes that education was better during Soviet times. Let's look into this situation.
We also decided to conduct a survey for students at our university and analyze comments from the resources we used.
As we can see, people who were educated in Soviet times are very critical of modern education, while students think that education is better now. We can conclude that over time the concept of education changes to suit the skills that are needed at certain period.
While still at school, children from the age of 14 could become councilman members and the activities continued at the university. The Communist Youth League was a very important indicator in the student's academic performance, and if a student was expelled from this union, then we can say that on his reputation was put across. In the Soviet Union, institutes and universities functioned as higher education institutions. Young people were paid a scholarship, and also USSR was the first country which began to use correspondence education. Benefits of higher education in Soviet times are a bit similar to schools. There are focus on technical and scientific fields, free and high-quality education, great promotion for learning. And weaknesses are also alike: limited interaction with the outside world and diversity of thought, shortages of basic necessities, lack of intellectual freedom. Speaking about modern higher education in Kazakhstan, this is worth noting that now there is a transition period where one part of universities still adheres the old policy, while the other part is already teaching according to international standards. Nowadays, pros of modern universities are freedom of activities, requirement for a creative approach to completing tasks, good networking, big variety of professions, and weaknesses are expensive and not qualitative education. So as we can see, some of drawbacks turn to benefits from Soviet times and vice versa.
In conclusion, I want to say that the old and the new education are significantly different. This was influenced by many factors, from the collapse of USSR to the technological changes.